Now, you started shortly after that a business called Rippers. Tell us about that one.
Well, I started the first nylon and Velcro surfer wallet business because my rich dad said to me, he goes, you've got to, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you've got to have to start. So now I'm 10 years older.
Let me show you one of my first products here. And this was a nylon and Velcro surfer wallet. When I was at school in New York at the Merchant Marine Academy, we used to sew these products out of sailcloth because we were a sailing school.
And we started manufacturing them. We took them to Korea. We had 100,000 made, 25,000 red, blue, green, yellow, shipped them to New York, and we started shipping them into market. They didn't sell. We're going broke so fast.
Here, I had a great product. But what my rich dad was saying, he says, you don't have a great business.
There's a mission, your team, leadership, there's product, legal, systems, communications, and cash flow or accounting. The reason so many businesses fail, I think 9 out of 10 fail in the first 5 years, and of those that survive, 90% of them fail in the next 10 years. And the reason they fail is because one or more of the parts of the triangle are missing. So it's not what you know, it's what you don't know. Stress caused me to think, and so I was in Golden Gate Park, and I read this paper, and it says, jogger has his car stolen. And what happened was the jogger had gone to Golden Gate Park, took his key out, and put it on top of his car tire. A very big problem for joggers because they put the key around their neck and it would beat against them. So the question was, where does the jogger put their key? So since my background is a little bit of engineering from the academy, I invented what's called a shoe pocket.
And went on the runner's shoes, you could put a key inside this thing, you could put some money, but also it came with an ID card, just in case you dropped over dead, they want to know who the body was. It was in Playboy magazine and Runner's World magazine and all that.
And it became the #1 selling product in sporting goods in America. And so people would call up and say, this shoe pocket is great. What else can you sell us? I said, I got some wallets.
Boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option. Exhausted, this passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it, nah, you cannot stop it.
And then from there, I saw every surfer kid in Hawaii had this little bumper sticker that said 98 Rock. What's 98 Rock? So I knock on the radio station's door, and this guy named Brian comes in. Brian was a marketer. He says, 98 Rock's the hottest thing in rock and roll. He said, hey, you make wallets, right? And I said, yeah. He says, can you silk screen 98 Rock on them? With that, I got into the rock and roll business, and that became, 98 Rock became the most powerful rock merchandising program in the 80s. Meanwhile, we're hand to mouth. We have no money. It takes a lot of money to keep this thing's financed. So the debt kept climbing, and then one day I just couldn't keep it going anymore. The debt thing came crashing down.
And you cannot stop it. Nah, you cannot stop it.
Hey guys, Nick Nanton here, host and producer of In Case You Didn't Know. In case you didn't know, the full episode can be enjoyed right now on Amazon Prime, and I invite you to join me there. Also, if you liked this short clip, I'd love for you to leave a comment below and share it with your friends. See you on Amazon Prime. Take care.